Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Marcia Martin, the heart healer, and I am delighted to share with you a survivor who has turned herself into a thriver. She is Zamira Davis, and she is here with me today to share about her life mission. She went from living in a place of pain to being able to really live a life that feels good on every level. So, Zamira, welcome. And please tell us where you were, how you got here, and what you're doing now. So, begin with, where were you? What is this thing that got you kind of spinning in circles and not understanding who you were anymore or what you had to offer or how you could make a difference?
Yeah, so for me, it was a whole journey, whole healing journey from, coming from a narcissistic relationship. And actually I realized that I was in a series of narcissistic relationships after looking back. And it took a lot for me to, get to the point to where I was able to see what was really happening. But I had a rude awakening with my last relationship where, I was discarded during my pregnancy. And that incident really, was the kickstart into my healing journey.
Not easy, but it seems that those who really make it, those who are able to get back on their feet and make a difference in their own life and in the lives of others, often have a painful transition. So, looking back on that discard during pregnancy, I know it was traumatic, but did you also find that it was really what you needed? As you said, you had been through quite a few narcissistic relationships prior to that. Was this extremely traumatic and unwelcome event kind of the kick in the pants that you needed to wake up and say, gosh, what am I doing? Why do I keep getting in the same situation?
Yes, so for me, it was a rude awakening for me to see, like, why did I keep getting myself in these situations? And it caused a whole evolution process to my healing journey where I really had to take a look, of course, because I was the only person in the equation of all these different relationships. So one thing that was really helpful, what actually made a lot of sense to me now in my healing journey after studying NLP, was that we have 11 million bits of information constantly coming our way, and we, through those 11 million bits, we only pick up about 126 to 134 bits of information. So that's like so minuscule to in comparison to all of the information that's being constantly put our way. And through our filters, which we distort, delete, and generalize, we we basically bring into our reality based on those filters. And so a lot of us who have been in narcissistic relationships, we have had childhood experiences to where we somehow, either our parents were overtly abusive, or maybe they were covertly abusive to where they didn't realize they were being abusive or neglectful because they were going through whatever they were going through, kind of repeating a lot of patterns, family patterns. And so however, we got these messages from them that, we're not good enough, we're not worthy of love, we're not worthy of attention, all of these different things. Based on those filters, our brain wants us to be right. So through those filters we
Always.
can, right. And so through those filters we can only pick up as much information as the information that we have to work with. And so we're going to basically, and this is the law of attraction in real action, because a lot of people talk about the law of attraction, but it's always like, but that's the real law of attraction. Through these filters, we validate our reality through our partners. We validate a lot of our insecurities. We validate a lot of our beliefs and values through our partners. And so even though you may have not consciously picked a partner that was abusive. Of course, no one says, let me go find an abusive partner, right? But what happens is through these unconscious filters that you process through childhood traumas and whatnot, you end up picking partners who validate your unconscious beliefs about yourself. And so, yeah, and that was awakening for me, is that, basically I needed to work through these limiting beliefs that I had about myself in order for me to be able to stop attracting these type of narcissists and people in my life.
Well, I think so important that you said the one common denominator in every relationship was you.
Right.
And oh man, is that hard to hear, but so freeing if you can get yourself to the place where you're able to say, hey, the only one that's been with me for the entirety of my life is me. So if I'm going to get my life to do anything other than continue in the same pattern, I guess it has to begin with me. But what was it that enabled you to get to that place? How did you go from narcissistic relationship one after the other, growing up with different forms of abuse, just usually from people that don't know any better? How did you actually make that jump? Because that's a pretty big leap.
Yeah, I made the jump just through, I think like our pain can like really like, I know a lot of times we look at pain as like, oh, this thing we want to avoid, and we don't want to feel these negative emotions, which I really don't like to call them negative emotions now. I like to call them undesirable emotions, because a lot of times our negative emotions can be transmuted to empower us into our greatness, if we utilize those moments properly, where we can sit and reflect, because you don't really grow unless you do have those challenging times that really push you, because other than that you kind of just go through life being comfortable and doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Had that not happened, I would have just kept repeating the cycle over and over and over again. I wouldn't have had learned anything. I just would have, if there wasn't enough pain for me to be pushed and motivated into growth, I would have just kept repeating the same cycle.
I think that is so important to remember that shame and blame have no place in the equation. We can limit the amount of pain that is required to motivate us. So just make sure, everybody, that you don't need to layer on the pain if you will answer the call the first time. Unfortunately, most of us spin it out hoping for a different result. So thank you, Zamira, for really pointing out that it's important for us to be okay with some tough times, because that may be the only way we're willing to be motivated. As we move more closer to self-love, we hopefully will be more easy to motivate and need less pain. But in the beginning, don't be upset that it's hurting. Instead, look at why that hurt may be occurring.
Right, exactly. Because through that hurt, and pain, you can really learn a lot of lessons. Instead of it's really just reframing the way you think about the pain and what you're going through, instead of looking at it like, oh, oh my God, woe is me, and why is this happening to me? Like, why of all people is this happening to me? It's like, would you want it to be someone else? And so you have to really look at it as more so like, what is this pain trying to teach me at this moment? Like, what are my spirit guides, God, the creator, universe, whatever you identify with, what is it trying to teach me right now? What is she or he, what are they trying to teach me about this situation? Are they, because sometimes they have to do something really extreme to get your attention, because sometimes if you don't because you just don't listen. We don't listen. We're humans. We want to do what we want
Yeah,
to
unfortunately, I've had a few of those times.
do.
What I do love the most that you said is how important it is to recognize when you're doing the poor me behavior.
Hmm.
It is so seductive. It is so easy to slip into, oh, why me? Poor me. It's terrible. This thing is happening to me. It is so easy to stay there and to be a victim instead of looking at it and saying, if it's happening, it must be happening for a reason. So I'm going to figure out what it is that I'm supposed to learn so I don't have to be a victim anymore. And that is going to ask me that's going to have me ask you to tell us more about this seminar, this series of seminars that you're putting together to help everyone go from the poor me state into this place of victory that is available for absolutely every person who is willing to stay the course. And I think it is so important for us to remember, just because we got to this low place doesn't mean that we woke up one day, had a bad day, and suddenly plummeted to the darkest of dark places. It was a long string of choices, a long way of responding to our lives that allowed us to make that descent into a dark place. And so when we look at the climb to victory, we have to be willing to give ourselves some time and take advantage of all the resources, just as you are presenting here now. We've got to take advantage of everything that is out there that can lift us up, that can educate and encourage us. So please share with me this incredible series that you have put together and how you think it's going to really support people in their journey back
Yeah.
to a place of empowerment.
Yes, absolutely. So, this summit, I'm really focusing on creating your compelling future after narcissistic abuse. I really wanted to focus on the positive side this time in regards to, last time we spoke about reclaiming your power, healing after narcissistic abuse, which is very positive. However, now I want my the guests or audience now to focus more on them and creating their future instead of focusing on so much about the narcissist, because the best way to heal is to really focus on yourself and really step into your power, take it back. How you reclaim your power is when you really start focusing what your goals, what your aspirations are, really focusing on that. What is that thing that you always wanted to do, but you felt like you couldn't do it because the narcissist was going to think you were cheating, or or criticize you for, whatever that may be. And now it's time to move forward into creating this new version of you and what that looks like, after all of that narcissistic abuse. Like, what does that look like now? What does life look like now? And there's so many what I want women to really understand is that there's so many possibilities, and there's a whole new world that opens up like Aladdin after you, go through this healing journey. Now it's like the life is yours and it's your canvas, and you can just paint it however you want to.
What a great, wow. Thank you for that. I think it is so important when you are exiting a narcissistic relationship. Your head is spinning in so many different directions. First of all, you've been under somebody else's manipulation with your agreement, and let's be clear that you
Mm-hmm.
had to agree to it in order to be there. But there has been so much coercion and manipulation within the relationship that you might be left feeling like you don't have any choices. And so it's so important that every single person remember, you made the choice to get into the relationship. You made the choice to get out of the relationship. And now you can make your best choice, which is to focus on where you're going and to come to this summit, the Trauma to Triumph series. Come to this summit, be surrounded by experts who have already made it out and are creating wonderful futures for themselves, and get the tools that you need in order to do that for yourself. There are absolutely no limitations in life except the ones that you accept. And it doesn't matter what kind of extenuating circumstances you may have brought with you to use as your challenge in this lifetime. There's always a way forward. However,
Yes.
you're not going to find it without information, without help, without inspiration and motivation. So we're going to encourage you to join us. It's this Sunday, March 26th, that begins at 9 Pacific time. So that'll be noon for those of you who are on the East Coast. Join us and let us do the heavy lifting for you. Let us show you tools and techniques. Let us encourage you, uplift you, motivate you, and inspire you to be able to do what needs to be done now for you. That narcissistic relationship is over. You have an opportunity to move forward in a new, more powerful way. And you owe it to yourself. If you have been in a narcissistic relationship, you owe it to yourself to show up, be present, and really absorb the information so that tomorrow is going to look a lot better than today. So, Zamira, tell us what you're going to be sharing during the summit.
Yeah, so we have 7 different speakers, including myself, who are going to be talking about different topics. We have Priscilla talking about how to undo the damage. I'll be talking about creating the new version of you. And you're going to be talking about how to stop attracting narcissists. There are
You
so
got
many
out,
good,
now you have to
yeah,
stay out.
exactly. We have Tuli, who will be talking about staying grounded in reality, because a lot of it is the narcissist selling us this dream
Wow,
of like how
yes.
all these all these other pictures of we can be so great together again. You've done your healing work, and now the narcissist is trying to pull you back in, to their false hopes and just and all the game that they play. But it's just staying grounded in reality of what it is and what it's not, and not build up these fake false hopes and desires. At least with the narcissist, the only desires and hopes you should be fulfilling and going after is the ones for yourself, because that's the only thing that you control is what you and what you do moving forward with your life.
Amen to that. And let us please remember that even though you've left that narcissistic relationship, you are still living your life. So challenges are a normal part of growth.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you run into a speed bump doesn't mean you are necessarily A, back in a narcissistic relationship, B, too broken from the relationship ever to get anywhere, or C, at the end of the road. It just means you have gotten to a place that might need a little bit more information. And that's when summits like this, and in particular, this one, are so important because you have the opportunity to hear from 7 different professionals who spend their working hours looking for ways to help you improve your journey, to help you escape from, stay out of, and flourish after narcissistic abuse. And I got to tell you, no one can do this journey, whether it's the narcissistic escape journey or just the life journey in general. No one is going to be able to do this journey alone. And there is absolutely no reason to do this journey alone when you have opportunities like this available to you. If you have ever been hurt in any relationship and you're not even sure, well, gosh, was it even narcissism? It doesn't matter. Come to this summit and allow yourself to be filled up. If you have a question as to whether you were in a narcissistic relationship, it's possible that that person that you were with was showing some narcissistic tendencies, and you have some confusion and you need to get your head back on straight, and you can't do it by yourself. Actually, let's rephrase that. I'm sure you can do it by yourself, but it's going to be really difficult. And we're offering you the easy route. And this easy route doesn't even cost you anything. Zamira has graciously gifted her time to put together this seminar that she is offering completely free of charge. So there are no excuses not to attend unless you are just happy where you are and you have no intention of growing beyond that place. But if you want to be the best version of yourself and you really could use some support, then we invite you to join us on Sunday beginning at 9 a.m. So, Samira, tell me what you're looking forward to most in this summit. Is there any one particular topic that you're like, wow, I'm really fired up about that?
Yes, you know what, I think I'm really looking forward to like the staying grounded in reality. Like, I'm really, really looking forward to that. It may seem, like very simple, but it's like it's the magic. There's magic in the mundane things or the simple things. So I'm really just looking forward to like that and the audience really grasping that because I think that that is a really hard piece for a lot of women to really, really pick up. Because women we kind of we're raised around these fairy tales and Prince Charming, and we're raised to kind of be at the effect all the time of everything. And I just want women to be a cause, like take charge and like step into your power. Stop being at the effect, because that's I think the real issue is why we become target for narcissists because we're kind of at effect. They're like, oh, we're kind of just going with the flow. You're like, oh, okay, he's nice. He's, buying me dinner. He's this and that and the third. And, instead of being like, no, this is what I want. This is what I won't tolerate. And if you cross this boundary, you're out. You know what I mean? Like, it's, those type of, and it seems like very hard. It may seem, kind of stern and hard, but you have to be like that. You have to have, you can be very feminine but also have very strong boundaries about what you want for your life and what you will not tolerate. And it starts there because when you have that self-love, you're not going to let it's like with your child. If someone touch your child, you're not going to let anything or anyone harm that child because you love that child. And you have to treat yourself just like that child because really we're all children, at our lower, at our unconscious level, we are really all children. And so we have to treat ourselves just like that little 6-year-old girl that we would never let anyone harm.
What a beautiful thought. Yes, yes, yes. If you've been in a narcissistic relationship, you've certainly experienced future faking, which is where they create a grandiose plan that is going to have you in the starring role and you're the most important and everything is going to be about you. And it can feel uncomfortable then to begin planning out a future that feels good because you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, which I guarantee you, if you were in a narcissistic relationship, it made sure to happen. There were no there were no wonderful futures. There were a lot of accusations, a lot of shaming and blaming and making you feel badly that this future that they had assured you couldn't happen. And of course, it was going to be all your fault. So if you are having some trepidation about how you're going to move forward from this place, because in the past, those futures that you thought were so beautifully mapped out and were going to be so ideal didn't happen, then I really invite you to join us, as Samira said, being grounded in reality, understanding what you are and are not capable of doing is so important in giving you a foothold so that you will stay the course in order to make good things happen. Let's remember, it's not going to happen overnight. You've got to grow into this new role and discover who you really are. And it's a process. So please join us. We don't want anyone to miss out on an opportunity to really get the support, the tools and techniques, and the companionship that comes from attending a summit like this one. So, Samira, what else can you tell us about how you personally decided to become such an incredible crusader for this experience? Because this is a whole new future for you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I just felt like it was a part of my healing journey, giving back, um, one of the best ways to, go through your healing journey and get out of that, woe is me, and get out of that stuck energy is to give back to others. And so initially, this kind of started off as my way of going through my healing journey, like my dharma of like giving back. It was like, for me it felt like a requirement for me to go through my healing journey. And I was like, I really wanted, I didn't want women to go through my pain the way that I went through it. Of course I can't like take their pain away, but if I could, I would, but unfortunately I don't have that power yet like that. But the power I do possess is just being able to bring my wisdom, knowledge, and experience that caused me a lot of pain, so where another woman can heal from it and learn from it and grow from it.
What a beautiful testament to the power of love in action. So, if you have a friend, or not even a friend, just an acquaintance that you feel could really benefit from coming to this seminar, and you don't know how to ask them, I would say just go ahead. Just say, hey, I'm coming to this event. I'm really curious. I really want to make a better future for myself. And I just could use a friend to come along with me. It's free and we can do it from the comfort of our home. It's a virtual event. So everybody is welcome and everyone will gain something. And just as Zamira has shared, it's so important to pay it forward. We feel so much better when we are helping someone else achieve after we have gotten ourselves out of that stuck place. So if you're feeling stuck, one of the ways to get moving is to offer to someone else to come with you virtually to the seminar. Or if you just, I can't do anything except concentrate on me right now, that's okay too. But perhaps you could share this on your social media sites so that others will become aware of it, even if you don't know them personally. But let's remember how important it is to share those things that touch your heart and that will empower others. None of us are going to be able to do it alone, but all of us will be able to do it if we work together. Samira,
Absolutely.
thank you so much, first of all, for being a woman of courage, being a woman who actually says, okay, something's wrong here, and I seem to be the, the continual factor in this problem. So I guess it has to begin with me. And then not getting stuck in that woe is me space, but actually doing the work to get out and now offering this to others. So, again, deep gratitude for you, for your mission, and for all of us healing the world. Let's, as a group of empowered individuals, and that is everyone who is listening, understand how powerful we can be when we band together. So let's invite everyone we know to the summit this Sunday. Bring yourself, bring your loved ones, and commit to having the best life possible because you know you deserve it.
Yes, absolutely. And we look forward to seeing you there. I can't wait to see you guys there.
Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you on Sunday. And don't forget, it starts at 9 a.m. and it's going to continue till about noon, right, Zamira?
Yeah, about about 2 or 3 our time in Pacific Standard Time, and then we'll have a VIP session too as well that day at about
And why don't you share with us before we go a little
mhm.
bit about that VIP session?
Yeah, so the VIP session is going to be this is going to be the opportunity where you can ask the speakers any questions that you really want. Like, you're going to be able to literally deep dive, come on the screen on the Zoom room and just really ask those deep questions that you really want to know from any of the speakers, that you just feel like there's a question that you're not quite getting, or that little piece that may just make your healing journey complete. You'll be able to ask those questions and get clarity on what you need to do to move forward and create your compelling future.
And is that also free? The
Yes,
VIP.
it is. Oh, sorry. The VIP is no, it's not free. It is an upgrade for only $47. So it is optional, but you can upgrade for only $47, and it's priceless because you're going to get the recording of the summit for lifetime access to it, plus lifetime access to the VIP session, along with a workbook journal too as well. So it's for $47. It's a steal.
Wow. So if you are not financially able to do the $47, you still get hours of wisdom at no cost. But I would truly advise it is worth it to treat yourself to all of this extra for less than $50. You will be able to go back again and again with a workbook and really move through what you learned and to commit to it and commit it to your soul. You've got to get this stuff on the soul level. If you don't, if you keep it in the brain and it's just kind of on the surface, you are going to find yourself struggling again with the same issues. Let it get down deep into your heart by taking this opportunity, spending that money, and really absorbing what these speakers are going to be sharing with you, because we want you to have the best life possible.
Absolutely.
So we'll see you on Sunday, everyone. Thanks so much, Samira.
Thank you. Bye bye.